and welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, 10th September 2018. I'm Yvette Boynes with the details. The Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, is encouraging the public to remain vigilant as the local Met services continue to monitor the movement of Hurricane Isaac. The system developed into a hurricane last night, and at 5 p.m. today, the Category 1 hurricane was near latitude 14.4 degrees north, longitude 45.0 degrees west, approximately 1,090 miles east-northeast of SVG, packing winds of 45 miles per hour. The local Met services said a feeder band associated with the hurricane could result in showers, thunderstorms, and occasional gusty winds across the island chain by early Wednesday. Forbes told SVG-TV News that at the time of the interview, Isaac was a small hurricane that appeared to be moving away from SVG. She, however, warned that it can still pose a threat specifically to those communities in the northern parts of the mainland.
The center, I must stress, the current forecasts have the center of the system just tracking north of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I want to remind the general public the coordinates that you are given, it is the center of the system. The hurricane can extend for many miles out from the center. Luckily for us, in this case, it is a small hurricane at the moment, and it's quite compact. The hurricane force winds only extend about 10 miles, and then the tropical storm force winds extend up to another 45 miles. Even though the current forecasts have it tracking more towards Dominica side, we still should pay attention to it because we don't know what is going to happen or change in the next 2 days, in the next 24 to 48 hours. So there's still some uncertainty. But however, as it gets closer to land, especially around Wednesday, Thursday definitely, we will start seeing maybe some changes in the atmospheric conditions. There's a possibility we can get the outer bands from Isaac, and the outer bands we can have the gusty winds, we can have rainfall. And the Met Office has advised us that they will continue to give us updates as to whether the potential for rainfall for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The NEMO director said it is important for the public to be familiar with the hurricane shelters near them and be proactive in getting the necessary supplies.
I want to put it that way. We tend to wait until the Prime Minister has issued the shutdown procedures to start going to the supermarkets and picking up a few things. Let's not wait until the last minute. Even though you pick up things now and you don't use it, you have the rest of the month to use it, and you can always replace what you would have picked up in terms of food supplies. Do not wait to move to another family member or friend house if you know that your house is not in that structurally sound and you may not be able to withstand a hurricane or may not be a storm. Do not wait until those last minute. Do not wait until the rivers start flooding to try and cross the rivers, for example. You need to move long before. One of the concerns persons have, okay, an emergency shelter is not near me or not in my community. Some communities do not have emergency shelters. We have published a list since June, and you need to be familiar with the list. We have it on our website, we have it on our Facebook page, or I think almost all of the social media have it on their Facebook page also. The API have the information, the radio stations have the information. So please know where your nearest emergency shelter is, because it may be in the next community or two communities away from you that you need to move, and ensure that you move with supplies to last you at least 3 days.
Forbes said today and tomorrow are peak days of the hurricane season, and 3 systems, Florence, Helen, and Isaac, are in the Atlantic, and NEMO has already put systems in place to deal with any possible impacts.
Our preparations have been continuing over the weekend and into today. We would have ensured that we have pre-positioned some equipment into the northern part of the island, and Sandy Bay in particular, and the leeward end, to ensure that if in the event of any we have an impact, whether it's from direct impact or not, or any of the outer bands, that we have some equipment, basic equipment that the community can use, the cots, chainsaws and those kind of things that the community can use to try and get things up and running for themselves. So we did that over the weekend. We continue to dialogue with the Met Office, of course, all the time, and all the heads of the subcommittees have been briefed. They in turn have actually conducted their internal briefing with the various agencies who are part of their subcommittees in the event that we need to activate. We have been in touch with the Ministry of Education in the event that we need the shelters to be opened. So they would have contacted their various shelter managers throughout the country. And we just want to encourage all, not just the state agencies, every individual, every family, every business to really pay attention.
120 new students have been enrolled for the new academic school year at the Glen Learning Center. At the opening ceremony today, Director of the Adult and Continuing Education, Kathleen Jeffers, said they have upgraded existing programs to afford more persons the opportunity to have an education. Hence, more is expected from students. Jeffers had a stern warning for students who may want to discontinue a program.
Learning Center is giving you a second chance. A second chance at skill building and academics. We would like you to think seriously, do some reflection, especially for those of you who were there last year and realize that you would have wasted a lot of time. Some of you would have made do with the opportunity that we are not going to have you come to Glen to do this year. We are serious about our program. We want to give you that opportunity for you to develop. And as you embark on this program today, we hope and trust that you see the need to be there for your own development. We can provide and create the opportunities for you, but you have to apply the skills and knowledge for your self-development.
Jeffers said that they are working toward the establishment of a support system to help students who encounter difficulties during their program.
We have support systems that we are going to put in place in assisting you, but you have to access those. You have to want it. We can provide it, but you have to access. You have to apply those that we are going to offer so that it will help you along your way. As was said before, we know that there are challenges where reading is concerned, and I don't want anybody to be shy about it or to be embarrassed. You have a deficit, and we're going to work with you to help you to fill that.
Colleen Thomas Williams is the business skills instructor at the institution. In her remarks, she encouraged the students to capitalize on the opportunity that has been granted to them.
Remember that learning isn't confined to what's found in books. It's acquired skill sets that are a big part of it too. Number 2, establish your goals. What do you want to learn? When do you want to learn it by? Is it every year, every month, every 6 months? Set goals for yourselves on skills and knowledge, and what you want to acquire. Your greatest goal today is to complete this program. Ask questions. I will often tell students, no question is stupid. If you don't know, you're going to ask a question.
Instructor in charge of the institution, Adrian Samuel, said that the Glen Resource Center has evolved since its opening more than a decade ago. He said that it started as a boys' skills training center with 1 instructor and has evolved into an institution that now has more girls than boys. Samuels added that programs are now held throughout the day.
Mondays and Wednesdays, academics are offered, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have technical skills. Fridays, we have business skills, social skills, career guidance, education, which are life skills and library skills. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, CSEC offerings of principles of business, principles of accounts, EDPM, HSB, and social studies. This will be for the community of Calico and surrounding areas and will be offered during the day.
The SVG Teachers Union is in search of a new General Secretary 6 months into the life of the new executive. This as Shari Edwards tendered her resignation on Friday to take up employment overseas. Last Friday, news began to circulate that 3 members of the SVG Teachers Union executive had resigned due to an internal rift. However, the union's president, Wendy Bino, dismissed the claims as false, telling SVG-TV News that only 1 member of the executive had resigned, as well as the industrial relations officer, who is not a member of the executive, but a paid officer of the union. Addressing Edwards' resignation, Bino said her services would be missed.
Sherry Edwards, the General Secretary of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, tendered her resignation on Friday, 7th September. She's young and she must be expected to pursue all avenues and opportunities for personal and professional advancement. She was a hard worker with very strong work ethics, and the Teachers Union would miss her dearly, but we do wish Miss Edwards nothing but the very best.
Bino said the union's constitution allows for another member of the union to fill the void left by Edwards' departure.
Based on the constitution of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union 4.44, vacancies on the national executive caused by resignation, expulsion, prolonged illness, or death shall be filled at any regular national general meeting. And of course, our AGM will take place during Teachers Solidarity Week on November 14th. The week runs from 11th to the 17th of November. And also 4.49 says that the national executive shall have power to co-opt other members in the interest of the union. So in the interim, we can co-opt a member of the Teachers Union to fill the gap, but certainly the position will be filled at the annual general meeting.
Bino said the union holds elections every 2 years and members of the executive must be dedicated to the task.
Sometimes it's a challenge because it is a lot of work. You know, it takes a great deal of commitment, and so sometimes, like in previous elections, we've had maybe sometimes one person going up for a particular position, but it is a lot of work. It's a lot of personal and professional sacrifices that one has to make, but once you have the commitment, you know, any member of the Teachers Union, any financial member, any full member of the Teachers Union can become a member of the executive when we have elections every 2 years.
President of the New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, has said he is satisfied with the turnout for Saturday's Walk for Jobs and Raising Awareness of Crime in SVG. Party members walked from Fitzhugh to Kingston as the party sought to focus attention on these two issues. In an interview with SVG-TV News today, the opposition leader said that they achieved their mission and objectives.
You know, 1,500 people, 100, you know, that is not the sort of event that this is. You can't walk with 500-600 people from Fitzhugh to Kingston. It's just not possible. Just think of the logistics and the coordination. The idea is that we would have a core of people. It's always been that. We said probably about 40 or 50 people, and that will walk essentially the entire distance, and persons will join along the way, and then they will drop out, or they'll meet us along the way and say hi and so on, which we did. Many people did that, you know. I mean, I could hardly get out of Barley. In fact, some of my fellows were a little upset with me because they said we spent too long talking to people, but that was the whole nature of the exercise. We were passing through, people wanted to see me, a lot of people were very happy because they hadn't seen me, been up close personally. So that was, again, very satisfying for me. You can't get that kind of interaction if you have a public meeting where you have 2,000 people show up.
Dr. Friday was heavily criticized for his leadership and the strategy used to address crime, but he said small acts can bring about change and he is not bothered by his critics.
People, they're arguing with themselves, you know. I'm not taking issue with anybody who wants to be cynical about saying whatever you do is not going to make a difference. We all die in the end, we know that. You know, but you have to do something. I say complain as much as you want, but also take action, do something. You know, do something. I mean, there was a prayer vigil yesterday. Are people going to say that, oh, what are people just sitting in their homes and praying on the radio? What difference will it make? Come on, you have to take action and say that you can change your lives, you know. And when people see us, commit ourselves to walking from Fitzhugh to Kingston. When I told people in Tonga that I do, they said, Doc, you're crazy. You can't do that. They said, I can't do that. I said, try it, test yourself. The government, if they say that, oh, crime is not a big deal, Friday making it a big issue because I'm scaring people. That's nonsense. It's people who call me and tell me about the problems that they have. The first thing you talk about, they say, yes, the situation is terrible. We pass people in Layu and so on. We're talking to people on the way. That's just what they're saying to us. So we're not making this up. This is real. And for anybody who thinks otherwise, like the Prime Minister, they're out of touch.
Dr. Friday said while the turnout was not in the hundreds, the party will go ahead with the second leg of the walk next week Saturday from the windward end of the mainland. He is optimistic that more people will show up. When asked what's next after the walk, Dr. Friday had this comment.
We will continue to be creative in the way in which we push the government to do what is right for the people, to meet its responsibility to create jobs. 46% unemployment. This is what the IMF said for young people between the ages of 15 and 24. That is outrageous. We can't accept that as being something that is normal and acceptable in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Similarly, there was a time when you had like 12 or 13 homicides in St. Vincent, not too long ago when this government came to office. Now we seem to have plateaued at 38, 39, 40. Last year was 40. And that is normal. We can't accept these things.
Members of the dance community have been encouraged to do all they can to support the development of the art form in SVG. This appeal comes from Dance Development Coordinator Maxine Brown as she spoke at the opening ceremony of the 13th annual KCCU National Dance Festival last Saturday. 14 groups from primary and secondary schools, as well as community groups, will be participating in the festival, which was launched last month. Brown said the dance community is diverse and encouraged all to play their role.
Members of our dance community, we have a role, each one of us to play. Role as choreographer. Our role is to teach, to choreograph the dances and to develop new and budding choreographers who will eventually take over. We're not here forever. Role as a dancer. The dancer's role is to learn the dances and to showcase them to you, our lovely audience. Thanks for supporting dance. Role as a parent. Dance mom, dance dad, is to give support in every way, form, or manner. Role as principal, as teachers, is to support the dance development officers when they are assigned to your school. And I'm assigned to, among others, the Lomas Deal Anglican School. And I must say thanks to the principal, Mrs. Yvonne White, I think she's present here today, for all her support in pushing the arts, supporting the students, no hesitancy, investing in good costuming. And teacher Maxine.
Brown took the opportunity to highlight the benefits of the art form.
Dance. Dance is an art of gestures and movements. It transforms images and ideas into movement sequences that are personally and socially significant. Dance introduces the elements: body, action, space, time, energy. Dance stretches the limits of a dancer's physical abilities. Dance stretches the limits of a dancer's physical abilities. Dance is the dynamic. A, artistic. N, natural. C, creative. E, energy. Dance brings energy. Let's D-A-N-C-E, dance.
Meanwhile, Minister of Culture Cecil Mackey said the tourism sector as well as the various cultural festivals presents many opportunities for dancers to display their talents and earn an income. He encouraged parents to ensure that their children are able to take advantage of all opportunities.
Bringing more persons to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also have Vincentians return home from the diaspora. From the USA, from Canada, we now have direct flights. And if we look at our statistics in terms of arrivals for 2017, we will see that by air we had an 11% increase, by yachts we had an 8% increase, and by cruise we had a 75% increase. Again, opportunities for these young dancers in the hotels, restaurants, and also private promoters and in the various festivals that I mentioned. These dancers have opportunity that the dancers of years ago did not have. And I want to urge you parents and guardians who are present here this evening, and also the persons who work along with these young dancers, ensure that they are put forward aggressively. Go to these entertainers and these persons who organize these festivals and ensure that these young dancers have the opportunity.
Police here are investigating the death of Yolanda McMaster, a 47-year-old domestic of Lower Kittels. McMaster's body was discovered this morning. She was reported missing on Saturday, September 8th. Police say they are treating the death as a homicide until an autopsy is performed. Police are encouraging persons with information that would assist in this investigation to call the Kittels Police Station at 1784-456-1750, the officer in charge of CID at 1784-456-1810, or the Central Police Station at 1784-457-1211.